Good morning and welcome into the Lifeline Morning Show. I'm Steven. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. You know, I love getting your day started off on the right foot. And to help with that, I use an inspiring quote. This one today hits just a little different. Rabindranath Tagore. Yeah, try to say that 3 times. That's this guy's name. He was an Indian writer, philosopher. He had a lot of interesting thoughts. And the one that I want to talk about today is this. We come nearest to the great when we are great in humility. Wow. Yeah. It's not from a place of confidence. It's not from a place of being boastful, of knowing who we are and owning it and lording it over everybody. No, not at all. No, it's all about being humble. What exactly does this quote mean? Well, I love this. Through this quote, I think he's really showing that he understood that the best human trait is a modest and unassuming nature. And that nature enables us to listen well, to form unexpected bonds, and to learn from others. Because let's be honest, if we're full of ourselves and we think we've got it all figured out and we know better than everybody else, then are we going to listen to anybody? No. The Bible talks about humility in so many verses. And it is an attribute that we're to have as Christians. We're to be humble. Now, that isn't to say that we don't know who we are, because we do. We don't know what kind of standing we have, because we do. We know we're children of the Most High God. That's a pretty big deal. But there's a level of humility that we're supposed to have. Even though we know that we win in the end, we're still supposed to seek out those relationships with others. We're still supposed to get along. What did Jesus say in the Bible? Well, he said that people will know you by the love that you have for one another. Humility is a big part of that. So I just wanted to point that out today, that being great means being humble. So remember that and see how you can bring a little more humility to the table today. How you might be able to open up to people that you kind of strayed away from before. Maybe people you've even avoided. And today you're going to give it a try. You're going to get a little closer. See what happens. I think you might see some bonds being made that will benefit you in the future. And you might come to understand those people around you just a little bit better. So, unguard your heart just a little bit to the people in your circle. And maybe bring a few more people into that circle. At least try them out, right? Okay. Give it a shot. See if it doesn't help and make your life a whole lot better. Thanks for hanging out with me here on the Lifeline Morning Show. I got Jordan St. Cyr here with Rescue. Callie Harmon, well, she asked a question recently that I haven't really thought about much. I wonder if you have. Stick around and I'll let her ask you. Now here's Callie with her question.
I am genuinely curious. What do people who do not drink coffee look forward to when they get out of bed? I don't understand.
I could see why you might be astounded by the fact that there are people who don't need coffee to function in the morning. I'm one of those people. I really don't like coffee that well. Don't get me wrong, when I was a kid, it's all I wanted because I knew I couldn't have it. They kept telling me, no, it'll stunt your growth. But anyway, now that I'm an adult and I can have coffee whenever I want, I don't really enjoy it. Honestly, COVID kind of messed me up on coffee because coffee doesn't smell the same anymore. So anyway, I got to look into these comments on Callie's post. Quite a few great ones here. So, what do people who don't drink coffee look forward to in the morning? Well, how about this? Matthew says, nothing. I look forward to nothing every morning. The sarcasm is strong with that one. Other people, well, this person says, I just have breakfast with a glass of milk. But there are some deeper responses here. Like this one. Bacon and eggs. That's right, the smell of bacon. That can wake anybody up, right? Oh, and our neighbors, well, they have eggs now. And they've been giving us eggs. And we're on our second dozen of farm fresh eggs from their chicken coop. And they are delicious. Let's see, what else? Hugs from my little girl and boy, Brian says. I love that one. I think that one takes the cake. That's the best one so far. So, I wonder, What do you look forward to in the mornings? Maybe you're even a coffee drinker and you enjoy a good cup of coffee. Well, I want to go beyond the coffee and I want to ask you, because I know you're near a phone. What do you look forward to when you wake up in the morning? Call me up, let me know. 256-505-0885 is the number to call. Again, 256-505-0885. What do you look forward to every morning? Okay, so I've given it some thought. Now, I'm not a coffee drinker, so what do I look forward to in the mornings? Well, I can honestly say, I look forward to seeing how God works through this radio station every morning that I come in. I'm serious. I'm there in the shower. I'm praying. I'm asking God to use me. I'm asking God to please speak through me to somebody today. Father, bless this day beyond measure. And I always look forward to seeing how God does that here on the radio. Sometimes people call me up and say, Stephen, that song you just played, well, it's exactly what I needed to hear. And I'm always astounded by that because I don't plan it that way. God knows what song's coming up next. He knows how it's going to hit your heart. And He knows how to get you to turn that radio on so you're available to it. It's amazing. And then sometimes I'll share something here on the radio and I'll get a message. And somebody says, man, I really needed that. And it just blows me away. So that's what I look forward to every morning. Seeing how God is going to work through this radio station and being completely humble and just so grateful that I get to be a part of it. Seriously. So that's what I look forward to every morning. How about you? Even if you do look forward to a cup of coffee in the morning, there's got to be something more. Something more you look forward to every morning. So what is it? Whether you drink coffee or not, I know that's kind of how we started this, but what do you look forward to every morning? What helps you keep going? I want you to call me and let me know because you're going to help somebody out with your answer. 256-505-0885. How's God going to use you to touch somebody else's heart today just simply by calling in to the radio station and sharing your answer? 256-505-0885. I'm looking forward to your call right now. There's a little something happening that I just wanted to tell you a little bit more about. There is a big concert going to be happening very, very soon. It involves an artist that you know that you love. So let's just go ahead and play that announcement.
Zach Williams is on the road again for the 100 Highways Tour with special guest Riley Clemens. Sunday night, May 5th in Huntsville at Mark C. Smith Concert Hall. Tickets available starting November 2nd at awakeningfoundation.com, including a limited number of backstage eat and greet tickets. Experience Zach Williams live at the 100 Highways Tour with special guest Riley Clemens. Presented by Altrua HealthShare, an Awakening Foundation event.
How cool is that? Definitely want to put that on your calendar. May 5th, coming up this spring. More information can be found right now on our website. That banner will scroll through. It's the second one in our events banner. You can click that for more info. Here's Need to Breathe with Fall on Me. Callie really started this morning. She asked the question, what do people who don't drink coffee look forward to in the mornings? She doesn't understand how people can do that. Well, I can tell you, I'm one of those. I don't drink coffee in the morning. In fact, I don't really enjoy coffee that much. Now, I'll take like a cappuccino or something like that every now and then, something sweet. But as far as just the straight up coffee in the mornings, nope, that's not my game at all. But I do look forward to things in the morning. In fact, I shared with you what I look forward to every morning. And I asked you, whether you enjoy coffee or not, what do you look forward to in the mornings? And I got an answer. Here, take a listen to this.
By calling and checking on somebody and finding out how they're doing.
All right.
Offering to do something for them.
I love it, man. So you wake up and you think about somebody in your life and you want to find out. You want to reach out. You want to connect with them.
You know who this is, don't you?
I do, bud.
If you got sick friends in the hospital, call down there and check on them.
Yeah, all right.
Wouldn't that be the right thing to do?
I think so. It sounds great to me, bud. Bud Williams calling in, telling me what he looks forward to in the mornings. And I think that's great. Wanting to reach out, find out how your friends are doing. Got them on your mind? You know, it's funny. Just the other day, I was headed home from work and somebody came across my mind. And I got to wondering, how are they doing these days? I haven't heard from them in a long time. And I remembered it was the scenario. It was the weather, how it's been kind of cold and then got warm. And how this time, it was a few years ago, it was just so cold outside. I remember because, you see, my side gig back in the day was doing wedding videos, and we would do videography for these wedding receptions as well. And there was one in particular over in Cullman County, and it was a Catholic wedding reception. I'd never seen so many kids in all my life on this little farm, and they had this big pot of, I don't know if it was chili or what it was, but I'm talking about campfire kind of big kettle hanging from chains on top of the fire. And this place was awesome. The song that got the most action that day with all the dancing at the reception was Cotton Eye Joe. It was great. It was so cold that day. But I remember being there and shooting it with my friend Keith Matthews. Now, Keith runs a video production company up in Huntsville called AVO. And so I was thinking about him. We've been through a lot together. So I just called him up. I just wanted to know, how is he doing? How are things going? How's the business doing? And just remind him of that memory that we share. It was pretty cool. So I don't know, maybe that's a message to you. Somebody that you haven't heard from in a long time. Somebody you haven't checked in on. Maybe today is the day you need to do that. Maybe they need to hear from you. Maybe they're going through a really hard time, and just hearing your voice would cheer them up. I want to encourage you. Go ahead and call that person. Maybe it's 2 or 3 people. Hey, you can make time for them. Try it. See what happens. I love that answer from Bud Williams. So I wonder, what is yours? What do you look forward to every morning? Whether you enjoy a cup of coffee or not, call me up. Let me know. I'd love to hear from you. 256-505-0885. What do you look forward to every morning? 256-505-0885. Here's Cochran and Company with Parking Lot. 88.5 JFM. Good morning.
Yes, sir. You was doing your talk show and was talking about what's your favorite thing to do in the morning.
Yeah. What do you look forward to every morning?
I do look forward to my cup of coffee, and I will say that this is my very first time to ever call into a radio station.
Oh, well, thank you for trusting me.
But I enjoy my cup of coffee, but I'm the very first one up in my household, so that is my favorite time to read my Bible and my devotional, and that's what I look forward to in the morning.
Oh, I love it. Just some quiet time with God. That is awesome.
Yes, and I also want to say that last week when you wasn't on, I almost stopped listening because your smiling voice makes my morning going to work every day.
Oh, thank you so much. That means a lot. What's your name?
Denise.
Denise. All right, Denise. Well, thank you so much for listening, and thanks for trusting me and calling me. See, it wasn't near as painful as you thought it would be.
No, sir.
Awesome. All right, then. Well, you have a wonderful day, and thanks again for your comment.
You too.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
I love it. Just a little quiet time with God just before everybody else gets up. Oh, that is such a special time. That's good stuff, Denise. Thanks again for calling in. And I want to hear from you, too. So what do you look forward to every morning? Maybe it involves a cup of coffee. Maybe it doesn't. But there's something that inspires you every day. What do you look forward to every day? 256-505-0885 is the number to call. Again, the number, 256-505-0885. Here's Lauren Daigle with These Are the Days. I just got this feeling about today. I think it's really going to be a good one. How about you? Yeah? Well, tell you what'll make it even better. Think about this word of life. Today it's from Isaiah 54, verse 10, in the New Living Translation of the Bible. For the mountains may move and the hills disappear, but even then my faithful love for you will remain. My covenant of blessing will never be broken, says the Lord, who has mercy on you. Think about that. Wow, no matter what happens, no matter what the circumstance, he will always love us. That makes me feel good. How about you? That's worth sharing with somebody too. So why don't you share that promise with somebody else? We've got it ready for you across all of our socials, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok, and it's always at the top of our website, 885jfm.com. I'd love to shout some people out real quick. I see you listening to us in Columbiana County, Ohio. Thank you for making us part of your day. You're right there, so close to the Pennsylvania line. Plus, we've got Arab, Alabama hanging out, and we've got our friends in Helsinki, Finland. Oh, this morning I've been asking you, what do you look forward to every day? Because, Callie came on and she had this question. What do people who don't drink coffee look forward to every morning? I could tell she was being a little sarcastic, but that's a really good question. What are you looking forward to every single day. And I've gotten answers, and they've been so good. And Denise just called me up. First time ever calling a radio station. And she had an amazing answer. She said, quiet time with God in the mornings, because she's the only one up that early. And she loves drinking her cup of coffee and having her Bible study. I think that is amazing. And Bud called me up and said, well, he thinks about other people in his life. He wants to call and check on them. He wants to make sure they're doing okay. See if they need anything. I love that too. And, I've been asking him to call in, and sometimes I get callers and sometimes people text me. So I wanted to mention this. Kevin Ray. I haven't heard from Kevin in a while. He's with Ray Electric, by the way. This guy, just a super awesome dude. He said, good morning. Every day is a good day, but some are better than others. Hope you have a better day. I love that, man. Thank you so much for the encouragement. I hope you have a better day too. That's good stuff right there. Thank you, Kevin. All right, so I wonder, I got a little more time before this car line competition. If you want to answer my question, if you've kind of been on the fence, but you're like, I don't know if I want to call that guy or not, I promise you won't be near as painful as you thought it would be, okay? What do you look forward to in the mornings every day? Call me up, 256-505-0885. I'd love to hear from you before we get this car line competition started. 256-505-0885. Here's Elevation Worship. Can I be honest? It's real easy for me to sit here in a studio and say, I feel like today's going to be a great day. Because, well, honestly, I do. I feel like it's going to be an awesome day. But you see, I'm not dealing with the same thing that you're dealing with right now. And I know that there are some people dealing with some pretty heavy stuff. Maybe it comes down to finances. Maybe you just don't know how you're going to make it this month. Or maybe you got a diagnosis from the doctor and they're saying it's not looking too good. Maybe that big C word has come up. The whole cancer thing. Yeah. So I know we hit these situations in our lives and they really sway us one way or the other. We feel all these emotions. So sometimes I think we need a little pick-me-up. We need a little help. We need a little inspiration, a little encouragement. We need a little pep talk from time to time. So, hey, I want you to stick around and hear that pep talk from Jesse Itzler. It's a really good one, and I want to share it with you next. So would you stick around with me? Thank you. Here's David Leonard with Good Lord, right here on the Lifeline Morning Show. From the kid who's getting ready to go to school right now, all the way up to the oldest person listening to this radio station, we deal with situations and circumstances in our lives. And sometimes they make us feel like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. You get tired, you get weary. Maybe it's a medical diagnosis that's just got you down. Maybe it's a bad grade in class and you don't know how you're going to pull it up. Well, sometimes I think we need a little encouragement, a little inspiration. So I want to give you a little pep talk. I just want to share one with you from Jesse Itzler. Here, take a listen to this. See if it doesn't pep you up just a little bit.
There's a famous trick in stand-up comedy, improv, that when one improv comedian passes the mic to the next improv comedian, they always start with yes and. Because if they say, oh, no, it stops the momentum. The spoken word and the words you speak to yourself, that self-talk is critical. The words you speak to other people equally is critical. I don't know about you, man, but I'm a yes and person. My friends want to ride across America on their bike. Yes and. Where do we go, guys? You want yes and people in your life. Here's why it's important. We get one shot at this. Nobody here signed up to be the 80% version of themselves. Nobody wants to look back at the end of the day and be like, yes, man, I was the 80% version of myself. But let me ask you a question. Are you willing to go all in? Are you willing to empty the tank and pour your soul into things? Are you willing to act with urgency? Are you willing to have a dialogue in your head that's positive and have spoken word in your head that's positive? Are you willing to show up for the people in your life?
How can you be a yes and person, no matter the situation? Well, it's that you acknowledge the situation, the circumstance, and you say, yes, I see that, and I know exactly whose I am. I know who my Father is. I know who's in my corner. And I know that his report is the one I'm going to believe, not the report of the doctor. And I know that he says I'm more than a conqueror. So I can conquer this class. I can get my grade up and I can keep moving forward. Whatever the situation, I want you to remember, yes, and You acknowledge it's there, but you know whose you are, and He's always working for your good. Quick prayer. Heavenly Father, in Jesus' name, I ask that you touch the person listening right now. Father, they're going through a situation, a circumstance. Every one of us are. I ask you, Father, to touch. I ask you to bless. I ask you to give them the encouragement, the inspiration that they need to keep moving forward. Give them the strength and the boldness to remember exactly who they are, whose they are, and that you got them in the palm of your hand. Father, help them to be a yes and person. Help them to move forward and be all they can be. Live this life to the fullest for your glory. And I thank you for it now. In Jesus' name, amen. Oh, that's good stuff. Man, I'm ready. You ready to take on the day? All right, let's do this thing. I'm ready to play some car line competition. Say it with me. In 3, 2, 1, give me the horn. All right, now I guess we need to start the engine, right? And then I guess I need to start the music so I can say, hey everybody, it's time to play the car line competition. It's your chance to win some gift cards this morning. Oh, we're gonna have some fun. Are you ready for this? All right, I got some gift cards, and it all depends on whether or not you can answer my trivia question. I'll ask the question, give you the cue to call. You call me up, give me the right answer, and you are gonna win 3 gift cards. 1 to keep, 2 to give away, and I'm gonna ask you, who are the 2 people you're going to share those gift cards with so you can share some love on the radio? It's a win-win-win-win. I think 4 wins, maybe 5 wins. Anyway, all right, here we go. Which animal can move its eyes in 2 directions at the same time? Is it a chameleon, a chimpanzee, an ostrich, or a weasel? 256-505-0885 is a number to call. Again, which animal can move its eyes in 2 directions at the same time? Is it a chameleon, a chimpanzee, an ostrich, or a weasel? 256-505-0885 is the number to call. Ooh, wow. These things, they're really weird looking. Sometimes they move really slow. Their eyes kind of look like cannons. It's crazy. We're going to pause that song right there because we got a little bit of business to get to here. This car line competition, don't worry, we'll pick it right back up where we left off, okay? And here we go, my latest call for the car line competition. What's up, Bud Williams?
Is it a chameleon?
It is a chameleon. Yes, sir.
Well, I gave it away when you said it was slow. It's called slow.
I like to put little hints in there from time to time. So, can you tell me about 2 very special people in your life, Bud?
My brother.
Your brother?
Yeah.
What do you like about that guy?
Me and him's all the time doing something together.
Man, that's
stuff together and going places and stuff.
That's awesome. And who's that second person?
I guess my mother, because she cooked for my meals and make sure I got stuff to eat, my clothes washed, and everything else.
Wow, man. You got some pretty amazing people in your corner, Bud.
Yeah, I have.
Thanks for sharing the love. So what do we want to do with the gift cards?
I'm going to roll them over.
All right, man. We'll do it. I'll talk with you later, okay? Bud Williams calling in and rolling them over, starting a little bit of what we call a train around here. So not 3 cards, but 6 gift cards up for grabs now on this question. Are you ready? Here we go. Which color is not found in a rainbow? Is it red, yellow, brown, or blue? 256-505-0885 is a number to call. Again, which color is not found in a rainbow? Red, yellow, brown, or blue? Oh, I've already got my caller. Wow. Stay right there on the phone with me while I start this song. We're going to pick it right back up where we left off. This is Kane with Any More, Part 2. We've been doing something this morning I enjoy doing every day. It's the car line competition. I had a question and a chance to win 6 gift cards. And guess what? I got a call, and this was so cool. Here, take a listen to this. Good morning.
Hi.
Hey, what's going on?
Not a lot.
Not a lot.
Headed to the orthodontist.
Orthodontist. Oh, no. Is this something you've been looking forward to, or it's like, nope, don't want to go?
Nope.
So what's going on? What are they having to do today?
She's having spacers put in.
Oh, spacers. Okay, I got you. All right, well, let's see. Want to have some fun? I got a little question here.
Okay.
All right, now, if you remember anything from class when it comes to these rainbows, there's this little acronym or a mnemonic that we use, Roy G. Biv. Helps you to remember all of the different colors. But you see, even if you use that, all these colors right here, they fall in line with all of those. So it's weird, a little bit of a trick question. Or not quite. Which color is not found in a rainbow? Is it red, yellow, brown, or blue?
Brown.
Brown is correct. Congratulations to you. I couldn't stump you. You just won 6 gift cards. What do you think about that?
And that's awesome.
I think it's awesome too. And here's the part I really love. I get to find out about two very special people in your life that mean a lot to you.
Okay.
So who are they?
My mom,
Yeah?
and then probably my mother-in-law also.
Oh, wow. Two moms in your life. So tell me about that mother-in-law first. What do you love about her?
She has the gift of giving and is very caring for others.
Wow.
Always makes sure everybody's provided for.
Yeah. Now it's time to share with me what you love about your mom.
Everything. My mom's always been my best friend. She's disciplined when it's time. She's loved on me through hard times and just always been there, no matter what.
Wow. That's good stuff. There's just something special about mom.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing some love. And I'm so glad you won some gift cards. So now, Rachel, have I heard from you before?
No.
Oh, you're a first-time caller.
I am. My daughter convinced me to.
Oh, I'm so happy. Well, thank you so much for calling. You know, I had a first-time caller earlier on the radio, too. And
Yep.
I think she understood this, too. And I think maybe you're experiencing it. It's not near as painful as you thought it would be, is it?
No.
So maybe I'll hear from you again soon, huh?
Okay.
All right. Sounds great. Thank you, Rachel. Hey, one last question, if it's okay.
Yes.
What do you love about listening to this radio station?
I can listen to it with my kids. And I don't have to worry about songs that they're hearing or anything that I don't want them to hear.
Wow, that's good stuff. Thank you for trusting us with your kids. It really means a lot.
Yeah.
All right. Have a great day.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye. Rachel Gilmore, thanks again for calling me. And that daughter of yours, inspiring you to call me up. You know, when I got off the phone with Rachel, I was like, hold on. I couldn't get this whole idea out of my mind of her daughter inspiring her to call. And I thought, I can't leave this hanging like this. I got to call them back. So I did. And here's how that went.
Hello?
Hey, Rachel. Hey, I meant to ask you. You said your daughter was the one who got you to call in?
Yes.
Is she available? Could I talk to her?
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Hello.
Hey, what's going on?
I'm riding in the car being bored.
Okay. Riding in the car being bored. Hey, I wanted to thank you for nudging your mom to call the radio station. That's pretty cool. And I hear that you're going to the orthodontist to get spacers put in your teeth?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So what do you think about that? Is it something that you're like, yeah, I kind of need it, but I don't want to do this? Do you like the dentist?
I do, but I can't, eat chewy stuff with the spacers or braces, so...
I gotcha. You got to modify the stuff that you're eating. That's a bummer for sure. Wow. Well, I want you to stay strong, and everything's going to be just fine with these spacers. Have I heard from you before on the car line competition?
Nope.
Oh, hopefully you'll call me up sometime soon, huh?
Probably.
All right, very good. Well, all right. Hey, could I do something for you real quick?
Yes.
Could I pray for you? That'd be all right?
Yes.
All right, let's do this. Heavenly Father, in Jesus' name, I thank you so much that you are in the middle of this situation. Yeah, she's got to have spacers put in those teeth, but everything's going to be just fine. Father, I ask that you give her confidence, that you help her know everything's going to be okay. There's nothing to be afraid of. And, yep, she can even adjust to changing the things that she has to eat with the spacers in her teeth. Because, Father, you're doing something good. You gave these doctors and these dentists and these orthodontists, you gave them knowledge on how to help us. And we ask you, Father, to be with them today as they put these spacers in. Let everything go perfectly well. And we thank you that you're in control. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. I just had to talk with you and had to thank you for getting your mom to call in. So, all right, I'll talk with you soon, okay?
Okay.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Blakely, thank you again. And yeah, I can't wait to hear from you on the car line competition. All right, that's going to bring us to the end of today's car line competition. But hey, we'll play it again tomorrow. So if you didn't get a chance today, or maybe you've been on the fence, you're like, I want to play, but I don't want to call the radio station. Well, hopefully you have some evidence that it doesn't hurt, it's not painful at all, and actually it's a lot of fun. So maybe you'll be inspired to call me up tomorrow and win some gift cards of your own and share some love with somebody on the radio. It's really a lot of fun. I look forward to it every single day. All right, so we got 2.5 hours of show left. We got some stuff to talk about, so I hope you'll stick around and we can have some more fun. And just a reminder for you, in case you have to step away from your radio, you can tune us in online. It's real easy, 885jfm.com. Click that On Now button there at the top of the page and press play, and you're good to go. Yep, it's that easy, and we'd love to keep you company all day long. Just keep us in the background. Every now and then you need a little encouragement, a little inspiration. Turn that volume up a little bit, and everything's going to be okay. All right? Here's Riley Clemens and Loved by You. Okay, so there are some crazy food trends out there, and I love talking about them here on the radio. I'm going to have to actually do a taste test on this, but if you get to it before I do, I want you to let me know how it turned out. First, let me tell you a little story about what happened yesterday. I'm sitting here in the studio doing some work, and if you don't know, see, we're on the top floor of Lake City Assembly of God, right? Radio station is housed inside the church building. And just down the hall here is CWJC Gunnersville, Christian Women's Job Corps. And I see these ladies Tuesday through Thursday, they come in, they have their classes, and I'm telling you, it's a lot of fun to see how lives change through that ministry. But you see, Glory Reynolds is the assistant for CWJC, and she's got a little girl she brings with her, and her name is Ayla. And Ayla is my buddy. And every time she comes by, she wants her mama to pick her up so she can wave to me. She can see me through the studio window. And I love spending time with that little girl. She reminds me of my daughter so much. But yesterday, as she came by, her mama picked her up and she waved at me. And I had to get out of the studio and go out there in the hallway and say hi to her. I did the little, the high five game with her. And I looked at her, I said, my goodness, you must have been having something delicious. It's all over your face. I said, what is that? And, we kind of talked a little bit, and here in just a couple minutes, Ayla comes back with her mama. They open up the studio door, and they bring me this little cup. And in this cup is like this Oreo surprise, I don't know what it's called. It's like a Oreo pudding with the Oreo stuck in the top of it. And Glory tells me, that's what she had all over her face. And they brought me one too. I'm like, oh, thank you so much. That is so sweet. So, man, it was delicious. I'm telling you, Oreos are good stuff. But yeah, here is the trend. The new trend. If you try this, if you feel brave enough, please let me know how it turns out. But I will definitely get around to doing this. All right? You ready for it? It involves an Oreo, and it involves Easy Cheese or Cheese Whiz, that cheese in a can? They say that if you put some of that Easy Cheese on top of an Oreo and eat it, it tastes like cheesecake? Is it true? Do you know? Have you tried it before? I need opinions. What do you think about that? Yes, I'd try it, or no, forget about it. Ain't happening in a million years. Call me up. Let me know. Let's have some fun. 256-505-0885 is the number to call. Would you try Easy Cheese on an Oreo? Or maybe you have and it's delicious, or you're like, no, that sounds gross. 256-505-0885. Have you ever been starstruck before? It's like you finally met this really popular person and you don't know how to act. It's like you forget all manners. Well, I've been around some celebrities before. I've met Shaquille O'Neal. I've stood beside the man. This guy is just so tall, and his feet are so much bigger than mine. I wear size 14s and 15s. He's like up in 21, 22, 23s. Big feet, right? Well, yeah, I was fine around him. Ruben Studdard, you remember him from American Idol back early on? Yeah, I met him. It's kind of a weird situation. I was there for television news. It was kind of cool. And that job really helped me to meet a lot of famous people, like Dean Cain one time. I got to meet him. I thought that was so cool. Got to do like an interview with him on the satellite. So anyway, I wonder if maybe there's a certain celebrity that you would love to spend some time with. Yeah, do you think you'd be able to contain yourself? Do you think you'd act a little weird, or you think, no, I think it'd just be a great time to kind of sit and talk and maybe share a meal? Well, Neil Ford, I've used some of his content here on the show before. Well, he has a little story about how he was kind of starstruck at the thought of meeting one of his heroes. And it's a pretty cool story. Did it finally happen, or did it never happen? And what was the takeaway? Well, I hope you'll stick around because it is so worth it, all right? It's coming up next after Caleb and John and Hallelujah Feeling right here on the Lifeline Morning Show on your 88.5 JFM. making your day better. Who are some of the highest paid actors of 2023? Well, I got to thinking about that, and so I went to the good old Google, because that's where I go when I need to find something out. So what's being said over there? Well, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, you better believe he's on that list. Quite a lot of people over there. Now, from music to TV, let's just go through the list. Okay, this is according to Forbes as of February of this year. It's been a few months ago, but still. $230 million went to the band Genesis. Ooh. $210 million to Sting. Yeah, he's still around, still touring. Tyler Perry, you know him as Medea. $175 million. Keep going down through this little list, and you got people from the creators of The Simpsons all the way down to Brad Pitt and the Rolling Stones, and it keeps going on and on. James Cameron, a famous director, you know, he does Avatar. But these are very famous, important, influential people, right? Have you ever wanted to meet one of them before? You ever thought, hey, what would it be like to just sit down and have a meal with this person? I don't know, who's your favorite actor? For me, let me tell you what one of my bucket list items was until it wasn't anymore. That was Robin Williams. I would have loved to have sat down and had a conversation with that man. Just even a phone conversation would have done. But, you know, everything went down with him with the Lewy body syndrome and all that. He's not around anymore. So, anyway, it's kind of weird when you're around somebody who's famous. You don't quite know how to act. Maybe you forget manners. And lots of times I wonder what it's like being a celebrity where you can't really, you know, go about life without people wanting your autograph or wanting to take a selfie with you or wanting your attention. I bet that's kind of hard, right? Well, I came across a story. Neil Ford put it up on his TikTok page. I wanted to share it with you because he had this opportunity to meet one of his heroes. It's an author that he really wanted to meet. I want him to tell you the story, but there's a little sweet little twist to this story that makes it so much better than a celebrity ever could. So I want you to hear it for yourself. Here, take a listen.
Generally speaking, I do not like to bother famous people. When I worked in New York, I certainly saw my fair share of them, and my reaction was usually something in the neighborhood of, oh. Well, one day, I was going to an appointment in Midtown, and I was a little early, and I decided to get some breakfast at a little diner on 2nd Street. And I noticed that they had a couple of pictures of Kurt Vonnegut on the wall, having breakfast in the diner, in the booth I was sitting in. And when I went up to pay my check, I said to the old guy who ran the place, a Greek fellow named Steve, I said, that's pretty cool that Kurt Vonnegut ate here. And he goes, oh, he comes in all the time. He lives down the street. What? Well, I'm sorry, but the one famous person I would have bothered for an autograph is Kurt Vonnegut. And everybody's a fanboy about something. And I devoured his books when I was in college, so way more than I should have. I started going to that cafe for breakfast in the hope that I'd run into him. And I never did. But while I was on that mission, the owner, Steve, and I would talk about the meaning of life, and we'd wonder about the purpose of it all. And he would share some of the things that he'd overheard in the cafe, the strange and the brilliant and heartwarming things. And I used to take a lot of notes when I was there. And I realized one day that I wasn't coming in anymore because I wanted to meet Vonnegut. I was there for those conversations. And then in late March of 2007, I'd been having kind of a rough week. And when I went into the cafe, Steve greeted me and said, oh, you just missed Kurt. And he could see how crestfallen I was. And then he goes, hang on. And he runs into the kitchen and he brings out this used coffee cup. And he says that Vonnegut had been using it not 20 minutes before. And he gave it to me. And Kurt Vonnegut died about 2 weeks later, and I felt like I possessed a holy relic. And years went by, and I went back to the cafe, and I mentioned the cup to one of the wait staff, and he said, oh yeah, he remembered that. And yeah, no, Vonnegut never touched that cup. Steve had just pulled it out of the dirty dishes because he could see how I needed cheering up. I like that cup more now.
I do want to say something a little extra about that word of life. Isaiah 54 verse 10 in the New Living Translation of the Bible. If you go over to the book of Isaiah, chapter 54, and you look at the very top of that passage, just before the first verse, there's a little synopsis as to what this is talking about. And that really helps us when we're studying the Bible, kind of putting things into context. And right now, it hits a little heavier than it normally would because of everything that Israel is going through at the present moment. Because this passage, the little summary at the top, future glory for Jerusalem. The promises that he's made. That's good stuff. And, you know, it's one of those things, you look at world events and you realize that, yeah, we're living in the final days. My pastor talked about that this past Sunday. He's like, I've been living in the final days since I was 5 years old. And it's true. We are living in the final days. Surely it's further along now than it ever has been. But as you see certain things happening in this world and you see it talked about in Scripture, it really hits home, you know? Because, the Bible, it turns out, it's true. Things in there that it said are going to happen are happening, even now. So watching the signs of the times is always a good thing. But sometimes it could really worry you. It can make you feel in despair, distress. But here's the promise that I have read in my Bible. We win. So even though everything gets worse, in the end, we're better. So think about that. Don't get so bent out of shape over everything that's going on in the world around you. Now, that's not to say don't do anything about it, because there are certainly things that we can do. We can pray, of course, and we can put our money where our mouth is, and we can put our feet to the ground, and we can do the things that need to be done to make sure that certain choices are made. But when it all comes down to it, remember, God, he's got this. He knows what he's doing. Here's Mac Powell with 1991, right here on the Lifeline Morning Show on your 88.5 JFM, making your day better. Hey, thanks for hanging out with me. It really means a lot to me that you're here. And so I want to talk with you about something that's near and dear to my heart because, well, it's my daughter. She's about to turn 9 years old coming up in December. And of all of her subjects in school, there's one that she struggles with more than any other, and that is math. Yeah, I wonder if your kid's having a hard time too. Now, Grace is in 3rd grade, but, you know, they're seeing some problems in those math scores all across the country right now. And I found a lady who is kind of digging a little deeper to figure out what exactly is going on. What has caused this? I want you to stick around and hear what she found, okay? That's coming up next, right here on the Lifeline Morning Show. Here's Jeremy Camp with Getting Started. Is anyone else's kid struggling in math, or is it just mine? That's a question that Meg is asking. She says this: my kindergartners lost a lot of things. Field trips, walking across the stage in cute little paper graduation caps, and valuable time establishing the building blocks of their education. My twins are now in 4th grade and have made many gains over the last few years. They've worked hard to make up for lost ground and learn how to be students when half of their educational career so far has been marked by topsy-turviness. National data shows that while students are learning at a typical pace again, they're overall behind previous classes. I'm worried about my kids' progress, but one thing I worry about just as much is their confidence, particularly when it comes to the subjects like math. Math has never been my own personal strong suit, which is why I built my career on telling stories instead. It's easy for me to empathize with my kids' struggles with word problems and multiplying big numbers because I've always struggled with those things too. I still use the calculator on my phone every single day. What has surprised me about my pandemic babies, though, is their own lack of confidence in their math skills. Even when my kids know how to do something, they doubt themselves. When they tell me the answer to a math problem, it's always phrased as a question rather than a statement. I can't help but think their rocky educational foundation is at least partially responsible for their self-doubt. I asked some friends with similar aged kids and found I'm not alone in my worries. Math was for sure the biggest struggle of virtual learning. Pretty sure we're all still healing from how hard it was on us, says my friend Lauren. Her 4th grader is still struggling with memory math, like multiplication tables. Her college friend Kelly is seeing the same thing. She second guesses herself, gets anxious, and then shuts down, she says about her daughter. One friend whose child's not yet school-aged had some interesting observations about her niece and nephew who had very different pandemic experiences. Both are now in 4th grade. One had a parent who could sit and practice math with them regularly during virtual school and was able to secure extra resources when their child struggled. The other child had parents who were trying to balance remote schooling and working full-time and just couldn't give them as much individual attention. The first child is not struggling, while the second child is. It's a class issue, she says. I also asked a few elementary teachers and aides what they've seen recently in the classroom, and they are as worried too. A 4th grade classroom aide thinks the skills are there, but the kids don't seem aware they have those skills. I think it started with skill, but they've probably caught up on that by now, most of them. But it seems like kids who are gifted in every other area struggle with math confidence. She's not sure how to repair their lack of faith in themselves, though. So what do you think? Are you following along, or you're like, yep, she's reading my mail? Uh-huh. Yeah, my daughter's struggling with math as well. So stick around. Hear part 2 coming up next, right here on the Lifeline Morning Show. We're continuing the story from Meg about trying to dig a little deeper and find out what's going on with our kids and their math skills. And so far, she's talked with other parents with kids near her kids' age, and she's talked with teachers and aides, and we're going to pick up the story. Here's part 2. One school counselor friend said that her school has resorted back to using multiplication flashcard drilling in 5th grade because so many of the students are not confident with mental math. They've asked parents to practice 5 minutes per night, but that's been a stretch for most families. It's been a problem in recent years due to the overscheduling of kids and parents not involved in learning in general. But this year, it's definitely showing in 5th grade, she told me. All of this feedback leaves me feeling less alone, but also leaves me with more questions than answers. I admit our family struggles in the evenings and has slacked on drilling facts. We strive not to overschedule our kids, but we find they come home from the school day so tired and fried that even asking for 5 more minutes of their time can be difficult. I often wonder if the pace of trying to catch up is catching up with them emotionally. I worry my kids are burnt out. We were also the parents trying to manage 2 full-time jobs, 3 kids in virtual school, and a toddler. It was impossible to be in all the places at once and meet everyone's needs. Trust me, we tried. Wow. I haven't given it much thought as to why my daughter Grace is having a hard time in math, but I can totally see what Meg is saying there. Because, Grace, in kindergarten, that was when everything went virtual. It was a crazy time. And she did miss out on a lot of things. And I wonder if maybe that's where that lack of confidence came from. But I know we can push through this. But I can also identify with Meg. Whenever I ask my daughter to sit down with me and do some homework, she's not ready for it. She feels, I think, drained from the day. And I hate to keep drilling these facts, So it's definitely a struggle. If you feel that struggle, you're not alone. Yeah. Just keep doing what you know you can. And keep helping your kid. And I'll keep helping mine. And I think we're going to make it through just fine. Thanks for hanging out with me here on the Lifeline Morning Show. I've got evidence they're going to be okay too. Recently, my daughter brought home a sheet of paper that says that she's mastered her 5s in multiplication tables. I think that's a big deal. Hey, we got to celebrate those little victories, So let's keep moving forward. We can do this, Mom and Dad. It's going to be fine. I'm pretty excited. I'm about to announce the Daisy Award winners here on the radio. What are the Daisy Awards, Stephen? Well, stick around. You'll find out a little bit more about how nurses are changing lives across our community. Yeah. Stick around for this. It's going to be really good. But first, here's CeCe Winans. I've Got Joy. I think Pauline Hamblin got it right when she wrote these words. It's called The Heart of a Nurse. Nurses are compassionate and caring, with love in their hearts for all, forever extending a heart of mercy, always there when there is a call. Endless hours they stand on their feet, wondering, did I do my best to help this patient get through this illness, ease their pain so they can rest? In their hearts, you hear God's whisper. Through a nurse, he sends his love. Ever sensitive, kind, and caring, souls as pure as a snow-white dove. Angel? Yes, she tends to be. For her presence comforts me. Concern for the sick shows on her face. Her gentle touch, my fears erase. Wow, you nurses, y'all are amazing. And I know you deal with a lot of stuff, especially when you got a patient who needs to hear from the doctor. Things just aren't going as scheduled and they're fussy and they want to go home, and you got to deal with that. But you got huge hearts and a whole lot of patience, and you do an amazing job. And for those of you who are hospice nurses, oh my goodness. Thank you for what you do. I couldn't imagine. I came across a little story from our friends over at the Sand Mountain Reporter, and I wanted to pass it along to you. Have you heard of the DAISY Awards? Well, the acronym DAISY stands for Diseases Attacking the Immune System. And this DAISY Award was created by Patrick Barnes' wife, Tina Barnes. Pat had been a patient at the Seattle Cancer Care Alliance at the University of Washington Medical Center, where the first DAISY Award program began. Barnes passed away at the age of 33 due to an autoimmune disease, ITP. And the program gave patients, families, and coworkers the opportunity to express their gratitude to nurses for their unwavering commitment to providing compassionate care. And Marshall Medical Centers, well, they just announced the recipients, the award winners. All right, so the following nurses were nominated for this quarter's DAISY Awards. These are the nominees: Alaya Alexander, Madeline Brown, Jackson Camp, Megan Chastain, Maria Chavez, Colton Fortner, Brett Glass, Lisa Hayes, Ashley Hill, Shannon Jones, Melisha Knight, Shannon Leake, Tabitha Lowry, Penny Moses, Lauren Peters, Peyton Ponder, Ramona Rosser, Kayla Stonecker, and Sumner. All right. Marshall Medical Centers extends its heartfelt congratulations to the following outstanding nurses, the system's first ever DAISY Award winners: Ramona Rosser, an RN. Ashley Hill, also an RN. Wow, pretty cool stuff, right? Now, these are local people who are making a huge difference. Let me tell you a little more about Ramona. Acute Care, Marshall Medical South. Rosser graduated from Samford University for nursing in 1983. She was hired with Marshall Medical Centers in January of 2020. She was nominated by a patient, and they had this to say about her: "You have showed so much compassion and care. It just made my heart feel happy. You made me feel like I wasn't a burden and that I was worth taking care of. It's nice to feel like you matter. So again, thank you." Wow, Ramona, amazing. Ashley Hill, an RN, let me tell you just a little bit more about her, and we'll move on with the show. I just had to shout these people out. So she's in the emergency department of Marshall Medical North. Hill graduated from Wallace State for nursing in 2013. She was hired with Marshall Medical Centers in March of 2018. Ashley was nominated by a coworker after she showed extra care to a patient who was in cardiac arrest and had no family. The coworker had this to say: "I personally see Ashley's commitment and attitude in her work. While she is humble about her nursing skills, I've watched her grow in her confidence and strengths as an emergency department nurse. Her attitude towards patient care exhibits compassion and empathy, and she truly strives to do the best for the patient in every situation." Wow. Marshall Medical Centers held a special award ceremony to honor these remarkable nurses, where the winners were joined by their families and loved ones to receive their DAISY Award and heartfelt gratitude from the entire Marshall Medical Centers community. Pretty neat stuff. I just wanted to share the good news with you about these people who are making a huge difference. All the nominees and the winners. Wow. And all the people who didn't get nominated, you nurses, you rock. Please keep up the good work. You're appreciated and you are loved. If you want to learn more about this story, it's real easy to find. It's sandmountainreporter.com. It's their main story on their page right now. You ever look at somebody who's acting crazy and say, "Man, you need a checkup from the neck up"? Yeah, I know, right? Because what's going on between our ears really affects what happens in our world. So I want you to stick around. Brian Trent is going to help us with the mentality that some of us have grown up in, and some of us just continue to stay there, and we don't need to. He's going to spell it all out for us. It's going to be good. So I hope you'll be here to hear it. All right. Right after Brandon Lake and Praise You Anywhere. Sometimes this life feels like a roller coaster, right? Because we got the ups and we got the downs. We got the loop-de-loops. We got the good times. We got the trouble, right? We got the mountaintops and we got the bottom of the barrel. You know exactly what I'm talking about. But where do you live? Do you live in the bottom of the barrel? Do you live on the top of the mountain? Where do you stay? That's a big question. I wonder if you've ever thought about that before. Tell you what, this guy right here, he inspires me to think about stuff like that all the time. His name is Brian Trent. He's from Hampton, South Carolina. He pastors the Lighthouse Church there. He and his family post stuff all the time up on the socials. I found him on TikTok. And they go by Trent Tribe. He had a little something to say about where you're living. Take a listen to this and see if it doesn't challenge your perspective just a little bit.
Don't take up residence in your trouble. Trouble comes to all of us, but in my personal experience, I've let trouble go too far. If we aren't careful, we'll take trouble and then turn it into the place where we live. And it begins to shape our thinking and our way of doing things. Let me give you a personal example. I grew up poor, but my mom was a hardworking single mom, but we were still considered living in poverty. And my experience living in poverty brought about more than physical lack. It produced a mindset of poverty, which actually was worse than the poverty itself. I lived in it long enough that I took up residence in it, and I began to look at everything through the eyes of poverty. And this mindset developed that says, not only can I not afford it, but I'm not even worthy of it. That mindset created filters over my eyes that limited me. I didn't go to college until 20 years after I got out of high school because I didn't think I could afford it, and I didn't think I was smart enough or good enough. All of which stemmed from that poverty mindset. I struggled with relationships, especially somebody that didn't live in poverty, because I thought, what could I offer them? And it impacted my belief that God even loved me. And he definitely didn't want to bless me. So for years, it wasn't God withholding blessings from me. It was me withholding blessings from God. But thankfully, because of a few people that spoke truth into my life, I began to realize that I was living at an address that I wasn't supposed to be living at. I was letting that poverty mindset keep me from growing and moving forward. And one thing I figured out is that the devil will deliver mail to that address as long as we'll let him. Listen, it's easy to take on the mindset of what comes against us, but just because something comes against us doesn't mean that it's the end unless we let it be. God is always using what comes against us to grow us. Don't let that trouble become your home. Don't let the devil keep delivering mail to an address that you're not supposed to be living at.
So it's been over 16 years now. My wife, Cassie, and I have been married. And I'm telling you, one of the most fun things that we did before the wedding was that wedding registry. You know, signing up at Walmart or at Bed Bath & Beyond. Back then, it was still around and still a good store. So we put all kinds of stuff on that gift registry. Just, you know, suggestions people could buy us for our new life together. We needed things, and we're still using a lot of those things to this day, 16 years later. But, you know, there's a growing trend right now that people are putting something a little different on their wedding registry. Not just gadgets and gizmos for the house, but it's a little deeper than that. Yeah, stick around. We'll talk about it and the trend and why it is coming up next after Run Collective and Hallelujah Anyway. Marriage is a big deal. And I mean, it's one of the pieces to the whole puzzle, right? Of a fulfilling life. It's part of the dream. You have a career, you have somebody to share your life with, and you build a family. And it's amazing. Hey, I'm on that journey right now myself. Right? Now, my wife and I have been married for over 16 years, and I can tell you, trying to find her, that was quite the journey. It really was. And so many people are out there looking for the special someone right now to spend the rest of their lives with. And I know that God has somebody for you if that is you. So you just keep on the search. I shared some advice yesterday from a guy who said he had gotten some advice that he needed to write down all the different attributes he wanted to find in a woman that could be his wife. And so after he wrote down all 33 different things, the same person said, okay, now erase from the top of the page things you look for in a wife and put your name up there at the top. Now you need to have all of these qualities. I thought that was awesome. That's a great way to set yourself up to find somebody who's like-minded, who you can share the rest of your life with, right? But say that you've found that special somebody. You already have made plans. You have a date. Things have been bought. There are things already planned. You got the caterer. You got the florist. You got the cake. You've got all the other stuff going on, right? But here's one of the most fun things about getting married. It's everybody wants to help you out a little bit. So you go and you fill out the wedding registry. I don't know where you go and do that. Maybe like me and Cassie went to Walmart, went to Bed Bath & Beyond. That was fun. But we look at all these different things. It's like, yeah, we could really use that because when we join together, hey, we're going to be living together and we need stuff to be able to, you know, live. So we put all kinds of stuff on there, from stuff for the bedroom like pillows or blankets or sheets to things in the kitchen like maybe a set of pots and pans. We still use them, by the way, all these years later. They're really good. Or maybe a knife block or this, that, or the other. But what's the point in putting an air fryer on your list if you don't have a home to put the air fryer in? And that is what they're finding through their study. You see, Zillow Home Loans and The Knot. Now, The Knot's a wedding magazine, right? They came together and conducted a study that shows a 55% increase in the number of couples requesting help buying a home on their registry compared to 2018. That's right. Nearly 20% of all couples registered on The Knot have asked for help with a down payment on their first home as part of their overall gift requests. And when you look at the market and how it's been crazy lately, you can see why. I'm looking at a graph right here that shows those home prices going way up from 2012 all the way until 2023. It's almost a constant incline there. So yeah, you're looking at home values in the U.S. over the past 20 years. At the top of the list in 2023, $340,000. That's a lot of money for a home. So it makes sense that more people are asking for that. But there are some other things that you could ask for as well on that registry. And I'm so glad that they included these. So it doesn't have to be home funds, right? You could ask for funds to create an emergency reserve, to pay down student loan debt, or to fund an IRA contribution. Yeah? Practical ideas for wedding gifts. And there's some ideas, but if you come across somebody's registry and they have down payment on a house, don't be completely overwhelmed. Just know that these market prices right now are crazy, and yeah, they need as much help as they can get. But hey, it's a fun time preparing to get married, and I'm telling you, we still have stuff in our house we use to this day, all these years later, and we're so thankful for all of our friends and family for helping us out, helping us get a good start. So thank you for hanging out with me today. This is about the end of the show. I don't look forward to this time of the day because I really like hanging out with you, right? But I do want to leave you with one thing, the same thing I opened up the show with this morning, your inspiring quote of the day. Yeah, it says this: "We come nearest to the great when we are great in humility." Wow. What does that say to you, being great in humility? Well, for me, it means that I know that I don't have it all figured out. I don't. I have not arrived, and I need relationship with other people to complete things in my life. I bring strengths and I have weaknesses. Other people, well, my strengths might be their weaknesses. I can help them out. So being humble can really create an amazing atmosphere where you bond with others through friendship, through relationship. And it's just amazing being able to be there to listen, to not push your own agenda, but to be a part of the team. It's a big deal. So, hey, that's what it says to me. What does it say to you? Well, I want you to think about it and apply it to your life today and see how it makes it just a little bit better. All right, sound good? Well, very good. Well, you know what? I think I'm right in saying this, that I have a pretty good feeling today's going to be a pretty good day. Now go out there and live it to the fullest. And I'll see you right back here tomorrow from 6 to 10 for another Lifeline Morning Show.